Whereas the co-parents, their focus at that point should be, okay, well, this is what he or she's choosing to do full time. So we'll make that happen. But I also like let's say, like you said, they want to go live with the mom. Mm-hmm. The mom and the dad should then be like, okay, well, I still feel like it's necessary for you all to maintain a decent, solid relationship. And so that's going to take effort from both of you guys, because she's clearly choosing to move away. Mm-hmm. So it's like if I were to move and take my sons to another state, and, I would make sure that they're still having a life with their mom, they're still communicating with their mom when they want to see their mom, and make sure that I give resources available so that you can do that. Because at this point, we're allowing them to choose who they spend their time with. Then, when they are choosing to spend time with the other parent, then you need to be able to be ready to make it available to them.
All right, so tell me about your week, guys. I saw you earlier, so I'm at the end of the second half of your week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hair looks nice, by the way.
Thank you. I did it myself.
She has a salon in her house.
Yeah. So the second half of my week was all right. I returned to work after a week away on Thursday, and
Was that a whole week you off?
yes.
Okay.
And I was like unusually chipper, so much so that people are like, "Hey, I still this year." And then I was quickly drained of all the energy on Friday. I was like back in my baseline. They're like, "Are you okay? What's going on?"
You told me your nickname in the hospital. I was like, that's kind of gangster.
People already know I'm going to say no. So they say Dr. Jones said no. Like they already know before they ask.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not for everything. It's just like I have boundaries.
And that'll be without me doing sound. Tell me about you, Judge. How's your week?
Week was good.
Lather myself up to your words.
So, my week was, pretty chill. It's pretty normal. Just work. And then this is my week with the boys. So I just had the boys all week, doing things with them. They're back to school. Mm-hmm. So my middle son and my youngest, they go to the same school. And so he came to me, he was like, "Dad, can I go home on my own?" Because usually I had like a friend of mine, he was like a little homie if I was growing up. He was like my babysitter. He would go pick my sons up for me after school, take them to the rec center. They play at the rec center. I get off work and I come get them because they get out like 3.
Yeah.
They'll get off work till like 5. Well, now I get out till like 7. So, But he was like, "Yeah, I can do it." So it was like this like reach of like will where it was like, Jesus Christ. Like I just don't want to be wrong, because then if I'm wrong, something bad is going to happen. I'm going to feel that for the rest of my life. But he's been doing great though. I give him his props. He's been doing like phenomenal. But I also have his location on my phone, so it's like,
How old are your kids?
I'll watch it. Like 10. So the one that's walking was 10, 7, and then my other son was 10 as well.
How far does he have to walk?
It's from like Union Station, and I stay by the LD down here. It's not super far. But he does go to his mom's house on her week, which is like a bus. Like they take a bus to get there. He does pretty good though.
What's it like building trust with kids as a father?
It's just trial and error. Because nothing that they're really doing is, I don't feel like it's purposeful until they hit like a super conscious age. Mm-hmm. Like when they're like, I feel like when they're like younger ages, like single digits and stuff, yeah, they're doing stuff because they're just trying stuff because it's life and it's new and it's like, oh, it's my first time around the sun kind of thing. But yeah, it just comes with like trial and error. You just gotta, you want to do that? All right, cool. Like first time my son was like, "Let me make the noodles." All right, cool. And you do it, and he gets his hand with hot water or something, or he doesn't, and you just, okay, cool, you can do this now. Now I'll just watch over you slightly. Then it becomes a time where it's like, okay, cool, you got it. Like I'm not worried, but just time to trial and error.
Do you feel like you're better at that than their mom?
The letting out of air. No.
Nah. I feel like it's kind of equal, to be honest. I think we both have like, well, all of us, because I have two moms. So I was like, I feel like it's kind of like equal. Everybody like kind of just has their like certain restraints, but it's like that also comes with just communicating with one another. Like, I don't really feel comfortable with that. It's like, no, you got it. Explain why you think you got it, and you know, come to an understanding, and you can either choose to do it or not. You know, but yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say anyone's more than anyone else.
I find like as a pediatrician, moms tend to be way more like helicopter, and dads are way more like.
I see that for like when it's like a singular kid. I see that a lot more, but because like, you know, like like both my kids' moms have like multiple kids. My oldest son has an older brother, you know, but like I feel like moms become a little more relaxed. It's like you know, it's not just one. But nah, I feel that in a lot of cases, like I feel like it changes throughout the years. Like it's like when they're newly born, it's like that's like moms are going to like hawk on this child.
Yeah.
Then they'll get to an age where like mom's been around this kid for a while, she's kind of tired of him. You know, and they're just like, yeah, go over there, where's your dad? And then it's like, and now I'm tripping because he's with me and he's grabbing on the tools or doing the crazy stuff. And, you know, and I'm like, all right, keep him alive, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, and then I feel like it just, like I said, it just continues, you know, to change. Even if I feel like that goes for like same parent households and like co-parenting households. You know, I feel like that dynamic kind of is the same. You know, like they have who's their go-to at the moments. You know, I think that's the important part about like, if you're not going to be together, you have to co-parent because your kid needs that like dual side of like, okay, I need to go holler at my dad about this, but this might be a mom issue. You know? So.
How long did it take you to get to the healthy co-parenting space?
Well, for me personally, it was a couple of years. It was like 3, but that was mostly my fault. Not saying that I was being like combative or anything like that, but I was definitely still not to the point that I probably needed to be a successful father. And then mom kind of seen it. And like, you know what I'm saying, respectfully, so they were just like, look, with all due respect, like, nah, you good, like, you know what I'm saying, like, I need you to get it together, like, you know, and I kind of took that in for what it was, and I took that seriously, so that's what I did, and now we're here, you know, where it's just kind of like, I've called with some mom, she's just, dude, can you just get this dude, like, they never, like, kept the boys from me or anything like that, but, like, they would, like, okay, so, for example, like, now I'm on, like, a week off schedule with my kids. So it's like I have them 7 days and their moms have them for 7 days, except for my oldest right now because he goes to school like out in Maryland, and it's just and it doesn't make sense for me to drive there every day before work and drop any other boys off and try to get back. So now I see him like on the weekends again because of school, but like holidays, things like that, of course, he'll just be with me during that time. To kind of make up for the lack thereof, because I don't really like it. I don't like the fact that like I'm gonna see him a lot lesser, and like on a regular basis. Yeah, I mean, he just knows at school, and you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah,
I think kids are a lot less like fearful or like bothered by situations when it's like when you as a parent have kind of proven to your children that like I got you, like I'm here, like I'm not. It won't be like 6 months to see me again, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. For whatever reason, so it's just like but yeah, it is difficult. It's weird.
I think 3 years is a fast track. Like, I still see kids who are like 7 and 8 and their parents don't get along. Do you have any advice for those types of co-parents that might be struggling to communicate?
You just gotta put yourself aside. I feel like a lot of that shit is like personal shit. It's like some people do things to other people that's just kind of like, I really don't like you. And it's like you can't be mad at that person for their emotional response to something that you did. You know, so I feel like in that case, it's like you just need to find a healthier common ground with extremes. You know what I'm saying? Like because there's some cases where it's like on both sides, like this dude really might not ever want to speak to this lady again, and the lady might not ever want to speak to this dude again, or however it goes. But like you gonna have to find a peer mediator or something, you know, to like, because like certain things still need to be done together. I don't care what's going on. Like as parents, like. If you're a parent, both of you won't want to talk about it. Like you want to know what's going on in school and like medical things and dental things and how are the kids' eyes and you know like what do they like to fucking do? You know, like
Do you think, in terms of learning co-parenting in that 3-year phase, do you think it was a mentality or it took a lot of practice in figuring out habits between both of you guys?
So I feel like the whole like 3-year thing, like it's ever going. It's not like, oh, that's just when I kind of got my stuff together and like made a conscious decision to be a much better parent. So that's like forever changing, and you're forever learning something and somebody new, and then you like come across it's like friendships. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not the person you met when we first met. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one's the same. So your friendship dynamic changes throughout the years. It's just, you have to put in effort because there's a single thing that's keeping you connected to one another in a sense where you have to kind of be, you know. So yeah, I just feel like it just forever changes.
In terms of being a dad that has a son that's in therapy, would you say you going to therapy makes it easier for you to be there for your son now that he's in therapy?
No, because I feel like his therapy journey is his own. I don't feel like anything, because I don't talk to my kids about my therapy.
Yeah.
You know, if they ask me like, Dad, do you go to therapy? I'm like, yeah, I do. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't talk to them about it. It's not like we have like sit down sessions. Like, okay, so I'm gonna teach you about things I learned in therapy today. You know, if it doesn't really apply to them, it won't really matter. So I'm just filling their head with like facts that, I mean, it's nice to have facts, but like,
Yeah.
well, we're really not at a point in their life where they need to have a bunch of random facts where they're learning how to like formulate sentences properly on paper and stuff like that.
But when you see them struggle emotionally with something, are you able to use what you learned in therapy to help them navigate?
Oh, for sure. That was one of the reasons why I also went to therapy, was because I understood that if I can't understand my emotions or being emotionally intelligent, then I can't help these young men become emotionally intelligent. And then they're just going to be out in the world doing weird shit. Excuse me. I'm trying to curse less on this one.
You doing a great job. You hit like one every minute. I was like, yo, I could do that. That's an easy edit.
I've definitely been sitting here like focused on that. It's just like growing up, it's just like kind of one of those things where like I've just never put a lot of thought to. It's just kind of like there's just words to me. But it's also like I gotta stand to the majority of the world. It's like a sailor, dude. So, but I'm sorry, you were asking me.
Do you use your
With them and their emotions. But yeah, of course. But I kind of allow my sons to feel their emotions. Want them to know what it's like to have emotions, to feel it. Because like for me growing up, I was kind of raised in that mindset of like, you're a boy, like stop crying. Like nobody wants to hear you cry. Nobody wants to listen to you whine and you can complain. So it was like, as a man, I grew up and I was just like, I had that like thing that most men have that grew up in my era or before me, where it was just like, nobody wants to hear all that, you know. So you kind of just bottle it all up and you deal with it in different ways, you know.
And but I was it off to it.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't want them to do that, you know. I didn't want them to go through life feeling like they're not allowed to be sad or upset or cry or worried or like, you know what I'm saying, confused or anything like that. Anything that's not like, I know what I'm doing, I know where we're going, like I'm good, I'm straight. Like I might be angry, but other than that, I'm good or straight. And it's like, nah, you don't have two emotions, man. Like, so when they cry and complain and do things, depending on what it is, though, like I have a line with that.
You're like, look, I've grown, and I'm just gonna give you that growth that I have right here.
Yeah, like you're like certain things, you got it, man. I'll let you feel your, you know. But other than that, it's like, I don't know. I just try to make it a healthier dynamic in that, in like an emotional sense with them.
Can you think of an example of somewhere it's like, no, we're not gonna cry about that, versus like, oh, okay, I'll give you your time.
Okay, so my youngest son he's very competitive. Well, I feel like competitive. I don't feel like competitive is really what it is. He just doesn't like to lose. But he's not like overly competitive where he's gonna like try to get better at it and beat you. No, he just wants to be able to win every time.
Yeah.
So if he does it, you know, he'll start whining and crying. But those are like situations like, no, we're not doing that. We're not making a safe space for this kind of like attitude.
Yeah.
But a place where like, you know, it is like, okay, so for instance, one time, like sometimes I can tend to move around a lot and be doing a lot of things I'm trying to accomplish. So like I love them upon, and I may forget something that I told one of them. My kids don't forget. I don't know if that goes for everybody, but my sons don't forget nothing.
You tell them, oh, next Tuesday at 3 o'clock, we're going to do this. Tuesday at 3 o'clock, they'll be like, yeah, so what do we do? Like, with that. I told my one son, Lucas, he's like a lot like me. So he like came up to me and he was just sitting there. He was like, you could tell something was wrong with him. And I was just like, what's wrong with you? And then like what he'll do is like, he'll be trying to be all cool about it. And then he'll just start crying. And I was like, what are you crying out for? And he was like, man, you said that we was going to go and do this and this and this. And I'm just like, is that today? And he's just like, yeah, that was today. And I'm just like, all right, come on, let's go. It's like, okay, just let me know. Like, my bad. I'm not realizing. I may have just been tired or something, you know. Yeah, but if you let me know, it's like, cool, let's go. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I also told him, like, okay, you can feel this, but like, you know, like, let's communicate this a little bit better before we get to like a crying phase. You know what I'm saying? Let's like,
That's a big guilt.
So now he does things where he's like, hey dad, don't like what's up? We want to do this, you know? And it's just like, yeah, like today I gotta take him to GameStop. So let's get Pokemon cards.
What time is GameStop?
Huh?
What time is GameStop?
I don't know. When like that thing is close to like 8 to.
I'm glad I know the time.
Oh no.
I'm sure to get you out of here.
No.
It's 3:30. Yeah.
He's cool. He's actually still. He's probably still asleep right now. He was up kind of late. I let him say it. Kind of, it's my fault, but yeah, he's probably still asleep. So he's not worried about it. Like, we're gonna go, but it's just things like that, you know, like, and just kind of let him grow. But you also gotta let him feel, you know. But like even situations with like anger, like, you know, I remember there was a buddy in my house, and like my 2 older sons would like fight it. It turned into like an actual fight. So I just kind of sitting there, just letting them do their thing. And my buddy's like, why are you doing that? And I was just like, you gotta let them do it somewhere. Like, and then it's also like, I prefer them to be here and get punched in the face first than like be at school or like you walking down the street and do punches you in the face. And you're like, I have never felt this before. I don't know what I'm doing, you know, and now you're like just an easy target or whatever. So I let them experience everything like together, you know.
Yeah, but you don't let it turn into a cockfight, of course.
No, if it goes too far, sir. Like I grew up with brothers. Everybody that grew up with brothers knows that there's like a dynamic of that fight, or like people who grew up with really close siblings, or like cousins or whatever. When you fight, you know, there's always that one person in your family that hits that point where they like go Super Saiyan, and now all of a sudden there's like a random 2x4 that no one saw. Yeah, like they're swinging, and it's just like, okay, all right, let's calm down. Like, yeah. So I don't let it go that far, but I will let them do, like, I'll let you handle your thing, man, because it's like, you kind of got to get that out of you, so it's like, cool.
That's ironic that you said that, because somebody was asking me why was Velvet Lounge such a magical place, and I was like, you know, as an establishment, we encouraged, if you want to do what you need to do, that's fine, but there's a cutoff point. I don't think there's anything wrong with fighting. I think fighting is a form of communication that people should be able to express, but they also do need to understand where there's a cutoff point of either no longer communicating now you're trying to intentionally do something past the fight.
Yeah. I think I asked you.
Yeah. Then Josh could tell you, we worked together for mad years. Mad years. That establishment was an institution.
It was, yeah, it was like a safe, like I said before, like a safe haven for a lot of people. But it was also this chaotic fucking safe haven.
Yeah. Chaos is necessary.
Sometimes.
It depends on it.
Yeah, sometimes, for most of the parties, it's chilling there for a lot.
But those rules usually apply to our regulars, like people we know. If it's someone from the outside that doesn't really attend our establishment a lot, that is just coming purely with ego, and these people are seeing me get wrecked, that's a completely different situation. So even at business, there's a difference between business and personal that we had to handle quite often at that establishment. So speaking of personal versus business, how do you take care of yourself personal wise in your life? Because I know you're 1 week on, 1 week off as a dad. So who are you? Do you see yourself as just a dad, or past that point? Like, where does job sharing picture?
I guess so. For most of the time, like, yeah, I do see myself as a dad, but I mean, I've also learned that, like, you know, you kind of got to be a person too. That's kind of why me and their moms went to like a week on, week off schedule, because it allows me to have personal time, allows them to have personal time, you know, while also still having an equal amount of time spent with the kid, you know, or kids.
But I guess my personal time, I just try to fill with whatever feels right at the time. I guess I don't know. I kind of have went through a lot of changes, I guess, as a person, like most people do. So it's like
Some examples.
like most of my life I spent skateboarding. I skateboarded and rode like BMX for most of my life. And now I'm just kind of older, and I'm like, if I fall, it's over. It's over. Like, I'm not going to work for like a week.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna mess up my money, so I'm just like, I can't do it no more. You know, like, props to those who were like 30 plus, still skating. Like, you got it, son. Like, I refuse. But just like moving from that type of dynamic to more of a homebody where I'm in the house, I'm playing games, I'm building furniture for my house, or, you know, I got plants or I got reptiles, like things I'm just like in the house doing. Like I kind of mop my house religiously. Like, I don't know why, like smells bother me. Like, I don't want my house to smell weird. Like, I'm very like conscious about that. Like,
You like, I walk in, I'm like, you do some
tingle in here. Like, what is that tingle in my I gotta find it. It's just like I bought like a 3D printer, like just a bunch of things that I do in the house. Like normally, like before, like I'd be outside, like I'd be doing something outside, riding a bike. But like, you know, I've even gone back to doing that sometimes. I started like doing the gym lately.
Okay.
I went to the doctors, and the doctors was like, yeah, you weigh like such and such. And I was, no, sir. I don't think I've ever weighed that ever in my life.
Yeah.
Just like, nah, I'm good on that.
Yeah. You still drinking beer?
Nah, I kind of cut a lot of beer out. But it's even alcohol too. But also the medication that my therapist, my psychiatrist has me on,
Yeah.
like, makes me gain weight. I had a doctor's appointment recently. I was talking to my doctor about that. And she was just like, well, you are taking such and such. I'm just like, I'm not something.
Yeah.
Trying to make me fat through my emotions. That's crazy. So,
Yeah. As a doctor, how do you deal with stuff like that? Like advising someone, like giving them something that like might change their physical, like in terms of weight gain and stuff like that.
Yeah, so for kids, the main medication that you worry about is like ADHD medications because it's a stimulant. It usually affects the appetite so that kids are not willing to eat, and so they start to lose weight. The kids' main job is to grow, right? And so when anything
That makes sense.
when anything affects their growth, then you start to worry. And so one common one is methylphenidate that will affect your weight and your blood pressure. And so if I start somebody on methylphenidate, then I start with a low dose and then have them come back in 2 weeks just so I could like keep a close eye on like how it's affecting their body before we say like, okay, every day for the next 6 months, you're going to be on this. I just want to make sure like everything is stable.
Just hope.
yeah, I've been super reluctant on putting my son that goes to therapy. Like, that's why we're going through these phases of like therapy and other ways that we kind of help him before, like, we're like, yeah, no, I can get you some drugs. That's the last thing we want to do. I don't ever want. Like, I have a hard time taking my medication. Like my psychiatrist was sick of me the last meeting. He was just like, he's like, so you've been taking your medicines? Like, you should? And I was just like,
Yeah.
I took him when I remembered it. He's just like, well, can we set reminders on our phones? Can we do something? So yeah, so it's hard for me to like, cause I've never been on medication. Like, I grew up watching my moms take like handfuls of pills. Like, I was just like, no, I'm good on that. So, like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, now as an adult, I'm still just like it's hard. Like, I have to really be down bad sick to like take Advil or something like that. I guess to hurt, but other than that, I'm gonna just thug it out.
Yeah, I'm usually reluctant to start kids on stimulants. When they have ADHD, I usually go more like the behavior counseling route because two things. I've heard like they feel like zombies, or like the parent will notice like, oh, my kid has lost their essence basically. Like they're just like floating to the light. And that can be depressing. At least later on, I've seen adolescents who are like, yeah, I'm not taking that medicine, but I'll smoke weed because it calms me down. And the other thing, I've heard a kid describe taking methylphenidate as like, my stomach falls to the floor. I don't know what he meant by that. He was like 10. I don't know what he meant like by that, but like, is it like a roller coaster? Or is it like
That little hungry anxiety of
See, stomach falling to the floor. Hearing that as a parent must be like, oh, what? Imagine if you're a parent, that's your first time hearing that, like in the doctor's office.
a lot of times it is.
Oh.
Yeah.
We're gonna go ahead and start taking that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I always ask the kid, like, if they're on it and and the parents ask me for a refill, like, kid, how do you feel? Do you want to keep taking it? And they either say yes or no.
The fact that you can give that choice to a child though is crazy to me. Maybe I'm just weird for thinking that, but that.
I mean, their body, their choice. Like, they have to have somebody.
I get that. But if we roll that into everything, it's like, oh, my math is like, yeah, Dad, I'm eating these cookies all day, every day. My body wants to it's like teeter with his mouth hurts and he's puking up his like his stomach ache. He's sick. And it's like, you're a bad parent. I dare you to let him do that. His body is choice. No. I feel like we gotta have an age limit on the whole my body, like my choice whole argument.
Yeah.
We gotta put a cap on that.
Well, it's like, you don't want to take this medicine, but we can find something else. Like, we're not saying
We can
nothing.
find meditation.
Meditation, we can find counseling.
Yeah.
A different school.
Recommend that to parents, and parents have to be like, all right, let's start meditating with the kids. Like, is that something?
Well, when parents are like, when they're like Josh and they're like, I really don't want to start medication, I'm like, okay, no problem. You know, we have a psychologist who can work with you. And so I turn it over to the psychologist because that's her specialty.
And that's exactly that on it. It took him to like a bunch of different like meeting with people, and it was like a headache.
Oh, you guys all go out about with?
We took my son to like a whole bunch of different like doctors and things like that just to have people see what's going on. And then they were just like, well, we can put you over to like a psychologist to help them see what's going on, and that's what we've been doing. He likes it for the most part, but it's also funny because when he doesn't like, he's very vocal about it. Yeah, I don't really want to do this today. Yeah, but he's a little. He enjoys it sometimes though.
I'm laughing because his vocal, it's in his body language too. So it's not just saying, you can see in his shoulders like, yeah, nah, you don't want to do this. We shouldn't have come here.
Yeah, I felt it. I'm the same way.
Get the lead. Kids are crazy, man.
They're nice and honest. Where's your awareness at now that you have kids and they're kind of like a copy of you and your partners? Do you like see things and you're like, damn, you picked that up hard?
All the time. Wow, too. It's like, you, gee. Like, I feel bad. Like, I know what you about to do. Like, I can know what you're thinking to the house. I'm like, nah, I know that face. I know that face, yo. I make that face all the time. But, like, sometimes, like, their mom would be like, he does this little thing you do all the time. It's like things I don't even notice I do.
Yeah.
And, like, I'll catch him. I'll be like, that's the thing you talking about? Yeah. It'll be like, my son Lucas is, like, a little, like, reincarnated me with long dreads. Like, he's, yeah, it's weird. He do a lot of stuff that I do. Like, all my sons kind of got little trinkets in me and stuff. And, like, him specifically.
Yeah, he took the whole
Yeah, shit. I was just like, you gonna have it rough, man. I just think about, like, my childhood kind of sometimes. I used to just be spaced out. Like, what's going on here? Like, I know he'd just be like, dude. But, yeah, nah, they do a lot of things I do. It's weird all the time. Every single time I catch them doing something, I'm just like, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
One of my favorite sayings that my dad always used to say to me, he was like, you can't like bullshit a bullshitter. And I love that saying because it's so true. It's like, I be seeing myself do stuff, I'm like, nah, like, it's like catching us, like, you can walk up to them doing something and, like, they don't even know you're there, and you can just, like, walk up and whisper to them, like, nah, we're not gonna do that. And then they just freeze, and they're just like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and chill. Like, the fridge, like, stay out the fridge. It'd be like 3 in the morning. It'd be 3 in the morning. You just hear him scurrying to the fridge. I'll be like the dude off, what was that, Friday? He's like, what you doing in my house? I'm getting a big ass sandwich and shit. Like, but that's how it be, because they be like, they're like 10. The sandwich fat as hell. These sandwiches don't be normal.
Yeah.
Or be like 6 of them. Like,
That's outside the budget, buddy.
Like my son called me the other day. I was at work. He was like, "Dad, can you grab some snacks? We way home." And I was just like, we got like cookies and stuff like that. And he was like, "Yeah, but I kind of want some gummy worms." And I was just like, "Oh no, sound like you hungry for cookies." You lucky that you like I'm letting you eat these cookies right now, and I'm just being cool, you know. And then like, but you talk about some like it was so funny how fast he said it, like with his chest. He was like, "I caught some gummy worms," and I was just like, "What is this?" Like,
Excuse you?
if I ever call somebody and be like, "Yo, there's some snacks in here," and I'm like, "Yeah, there's cookies in the fridge and stuff," I'm like, "Oh, that's a bet." I'm never like, "You trying to stop it?"
Snack selection on peak.
It's crazy, man.
What's your relationship with your pediatrician?
Oh, for the boys, that is cool. I would say that I have a much more deeper relationship with his therapist than I do his actual pediatrician. His mom kind of has a much better, like, she'll be able to be like, "Oh, it's Dr. blah, blah, blah." And I'll just be like, I kind of just feed off her information because she's a little bit more like clinical when it comes to like their info and what's going on. Like she can like hold it up there and like I can go to a whole doctor's visit. I can bring you the main points. But like she'd be asking me questions and I'd be like, "I don't remember if we talked about that." And it's just like, I'd rather you just go. Just go do that. But like with his mental health stuff, I guess because I kind of just do it a little bit more, I kind of can, I don't know, it just clicks a little bit more for me. Because it was funny, we actually had a conversation about that the other day where it was like, she was like, "Yeah, sometimes," she was like, "sometimes I feel like you," when I'm in the therapy office with the lady, she was like, "I don't even know what to say." And I was just like, "That's fucked up." I was just like, that's exactly how I feel sometimes. I'm just like, what's going on here? Like, I know it's my kid, I'm very involved, but like, I don't know what's going on right now.
That's very interesting because as a pediatrician, I like when dads come because I never see dads and it's like a sign that they're involved in their child's life.
Mm-hmm.
But the dad really doesn't know anything. Like he cannot answer my questions most of the time.
I can answer all of their questions. For me, it's like being able to regurgitate because there's so much information all at once. Like I literally will sit there and take notes on my phone. Like I'll be talking to the pediatrician and be like, "Okay, yeah, and what was the next thing?" So I can relay this back. Like I've even taken voice notes before from the pediatrician to like relay it back to their mom because I'm like, I don't want to get back to her.
Yeah.
And she's like asking me about this doctor's visit, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was cool. I'm like, "Hey, what did they say? What's going on?" And I'm just like, we all right, you know. But she'll be like, "What are you talking about?" So I know to be like, you know, like, okay, let me take some notes. Let me, you know what I'm talking about, you know. Because like, I leave my doctor's appointments sometimes and I'm confused. I'm like, I think, yeah, all right, cool. I'm not dying. All right, that's about it.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I mean, it was cool. Sounds like a wild response.
That's not what's the doctor. Exactly. So I have to like take, because that'll be real life. Like, I'm like, I mean, it was straight, like, because in my brain, I'm like, okay, nobody's dying. He has no illnesses. He's not sick. Like, he's not. She'll be like, "What was his exact height? How much does he weigh? Blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, none of that really matters to me.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, cool. It's funny to know, like, "Oh, man, you like 5 feet tall. You like 10. Like, that's crazy." Like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're like 50 pounds.
Yeah.
That's crazy." You know? It's like, as long as the doctor's not like, "Oh, he's 46 pounds. He's way underweight. Like, he's dying or something." You know, I'm not, like, my brain's not going to be like, we need to keep that on memory to delay that again. It's just like, okay, he weighs whatever amount of pounds he weighs at this age, you know, as long as it's in a healthy range. And the doctor's like, okay, so he's good height, weight. Like, they've been in the 90th percentile of height and weight their entire life. So it's like those things, it's just, it don't make sense to me anymore to keep it to memory. Like when they were like little babies, when it mattered, it's like, oh, he's not 47 inches or whatever.
Yeah.
Then he's 10 pounds and so, oh, he's growing and he works, you know. He's on track, but like now it's like, oh, you straight, yeah, like you need more than I do. Like I know that you're not, like, you know.
Yeah.
But she wants to know things like that, so it's just like, where they'll be like, "Oh, we need you to go see this doctor and this doctor and this doctor to go check up on this and this," and I'm just like,
They don't write it down for you. The pediatrician just say like, "Okay, I'm writing the list."
I mean, yeah, but it's always very generic, and like she always has like, I've been co-parenting with like my older son's mom. It's a little bit more cut and dry. It's a little bit more like, okay, it's this and this. This needs to get done. That needs to get done. I mean, it just gets done. You know, but my younger kids, no, I'm not. Hell no. We're okay. So what exactly was said, what exactly is going on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have to be able to almost regurgitate the entire thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, like, I'll just call her. She at work or something. I'm like, yo, can you step out for a second? When I'm talking to the doctor, I'd rather you just be here for this conversation. I'll just put it, because it's just like, it's not that she doesn't trust what I have going on. It's just her personally.
Right.
And she's one of those people that needs to know. And it's also her child. So she's like, I need to know everything. And,
Yeah.
and like I said, if I don't feel like it's life or death or like something super needed to know or something that's just not normal, then I'm not going to like commit it to memory.
Yeah.
Does anxiety play a part when it comes to your kids, or is that more just a you thing in terms of
Like me having anxiety?
yeah, like where it pops up in your life?
What do you mean? You saying like what causes my anxiety, or does like anxiety run through them
Or
too?
like you're like, oh man, I need to know every single thing about my kid because I'm so anxious and I have anxiety.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it pops up for me with their location, what they're doing. Like I told you like earlier, he's starting to go to school, like go home by himself after school. Super anxious.
Yeah.
The whole first week, I still feel super anxious with it. It still bothers me. But I've become a little bit more chill because he's successfully done it a few times. But that was super, super nerving.
Do you ever have actually, now you're about to say something, I could ask this question later.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, it's a few things. I mean, like, even when they play sports, you know, you get super nervous. I have really bad, like, weird secondhand embarrassment.
Really?
Like, it's like I could watch a movie. I could literally be watching a movie knowing that these people are acting, and I'll get secondhand embarrassment from that. Like, oh, that's like that. But with my kids, like, I get it sometimes when I'm like, it's weird. It's like they'll be doing something and I'll just be, I don't know, I don't really know how to explain it, man. It just comes very different with them. Yeah, I'm not explaining that.
It's part of it, like you don't want other people to judge them.
I just want them to be okay. I want them to like know their place, or like be in their place and like doing their thing, or like sometimes they'll do things and I'll be like, gee. Like I remember watching my son try doing warm-ups for football for the first time, and like, you know, you run backwards.
Yeah.
Ooh, sweet Jesus.
That is not what you think it's gonna be when you're doing.
Sweet Jesus. I was like, don't worry, I was like, he could barely run forward. Like him running backwards was the funniest, but most kind of like, for me, I don't really want to say embarrassing. I feel like embarrassment is a strong word for that. But yeah, it was like sort of, it was like, oh, it was like hard to watch him do it. It was like, oh man, like, yeah, that's my boy. Who like somebody like, who's your son? Like, I love him, yeah, but it's just like, it'd be like the same, like now he's getting to that age where like he's getting kind of cool and he's at school, like give me a hug and stuff. He's like, people are like, that's your dad, and he'll be like, and he'll walk with him. He'll be like, yeah. And then I'll be like, hey, all right, I'm gonna remember that. Right. Later on, when you want to play Call of Duty with him, I'm like, nah, I play with school friends. But yeah, I guess that's how that goes with me.
So kids be getting kidnapped a lot.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Oh, a super huge fear.
Yeah.
So it's like, so I like religious, but it's like, so that's the thing. It's like, do I continue to shelter this to a point where he's not going to have, I feel like you have to allow kids to be kids to a point where like they have time to adjust to life. They have time to adjust to a norm, to something that makes them think, something that makes them use their brains for more than like things that they typically have to.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's, you know, to be honest, what makes me feel a little bit better too is something that it's not, I don't have to do it. I'm not doing it out of like, I have to. It's more so like something that he wants to do. So for me, it helps me with that because it's like, I know that anytime something were to go wrong, I can immediately get to him or I have his location. And it's also just like, I feel like that comes along with like, if I had a daughter, like I would never allow her to live her life or do anything because I'm like, oh, there's so many cases of like rape and sexual assault against women and like crazy things. I don't want you to go
do anything and to have a life. It's like, or to be an individual. It's like you kind of gotta be like, okay, I accept that there are really terrible things that can happen here, but I have to allow this person to still be a person, even though he's only 10. But it's like, okay, I have to allow the fact that he trusts. Because when I was 10, I was doing crazy stuff. Like I was being my homies was riding our bikes all the way to like from like Bladensburg sometimes all the way out to like Greenbelt, or like riding our bikes all the way across like DC and stuff. And like I was catching the train. I would get up at like 6 a.m. and catch a bus to a train station in like middle school. It was just like also like when I was a kid, like you walk to the bus stop, you know what I'm saying? You get on the bus. It's like you can get snatched up walking to the bus stop. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like they could be out for a long time. Man, like just it's funny now that you bring that up, because now I have to like think about it with myself, because it's been so hard for me to allow them to just go out and run around in the neighborhoods that we lived in, to just ride their bikes or to play or to do things like that. I struggle with that. But now that I think about it, it's like, dang, I let you walk home by yourself. I should probably let you go do these other things now. Like I have to. So it's like, I guess I'm kind of hypocritical there, but like, that brings me a lot of anxiety.
I don't think you're hypocritical. I think you're becoming aware of these things, and now it's really time to pick and choose. What am I going to be comfortable with? And then we're in a different environment. Like, fam, on the news, when it comes to these carjackings and everything else,
It's different.
The kids are in their teens, like fresh teens.
Yeah.
12, 13. Yeah, and like your son's 10, so now it's like, all right, now you get into that topic of who are your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And like not falling into a bad crowd, or not realizing, oh, I really shouldn't be here. Like I didn't know we were doing this today.
So like one thing that I've learned that I have to like start doing that like it's just felt really weird to me, but like his mom like be on it. It's like going through his phone. Like even though it's like, okay, yeah, we kind of pay for this luxury for you to have, you don't really have any privacy, but it's like I get that, but I like part of me still feels wrong. Like I shouldn't be going through your phone, like. But it's also like, as your parent, like, yeah, I should read every single message in your phone. But she reads like everything. Like she knows everything. She'll call me. She'll be like, "Yeah, I was going through his phone." And she'll say it all casually, and I'll be like, "Huh?" And the first time she called me with this, she was like, "Yeah, so I was going through such phone, and I'm like, you going through who phone?" And she was just like, such. I was just like, "Really?" And she was just like, "What do you mean? Of course." And I was she was like, "Well, we don't want to know. I went through your phone. What makes it off to that cell phone?" And I was just like, "Okay, I get that. Good point."
Do your sons have social media?
No. I think you might have like a TikTok, which I'm really not even like too fond about, and so I'm very like cautious of that. Like that's one thing I do look through is like their explore page on like TikTok, like to see like what's popping up on there. That TikTok's a real like TikTok is weird. Real weird, like their little like messaging, because I don't even use TikTok.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not too familiar with the platform, but like I'll just look on it and go through stuff.
Kids have one account for their parents, and they have a Finsta or like a fake account that you wouldn't know.
That's a good part about growing up in the decade that I grew up in. I do anything on there, like you're not smart enough to make multiple emails. Yeah, I did that for a fact. This one account is your one account. I know you're not going through the trouble of doing all of that. Like maybe when they're like teenagers or something, but it's also like, it may sound kind of bad, but like growing up, I always kind of it was always this unspoken rule where it was like, you do what you do as long as you don't get caught. You get caught and you got a problem. You know what I'm saying? I know it's like a terrible thing to think of, but like me as a dad, it's just like, I'm gonna do my due diligence, but if you're just that one step ahead, if you choose to do this, just understand that like this is your choice at this point. Because at a certain point, especially with them being young men, it's like you gotta learn to make your own decisions and to live with the consequences of those decisions. Like I back with my one son, he liked to what was that thing he liked to mess with a lot? It was
I love how he has a bunch of kids, so he could say one son. He don't know what he's talking about.
And they're all boys.
That's the whole topic. Is one son. I was like, yeah, I don't want son.
Because I feel like just going through the whole monotony of like, oh, it was Lucas or it's Caleb or Logan. But it was Logan when he was like younger. And going back to the noodles thing, he was just like, Dad, I got it. I was just like, okay, cool. You got it. The splash. And he was just like, like that immediate, like, I got 3rd-degree burns on my hand right now. It wasn't third or nothing, but it was soup water hot. Like, I don't know what degree that is, but
when I say everybody of that episode, he and Dean did not have that cup of soup.
I was telling you, because that's exactly like, everyone has to learn that. I feel like it's the same, as putting your hand on the stove. Like, you learn to not to touch things or to do certain things.
I could tell you what age I was when I burned my hand on the stove. And then what age I was when I burned my hand on the iron. Two very different experiences living me forever. I burned my hand so bad, the skin crusted over and just got hard for like a week. What the fuck was I doing?
Cold that iron.
Ironing clothes.
Crazy work. I'd have been wrinkly that day.
So when I think about the boys that are doing the carjackings and they're like 12 or 11, I'm wondering who is the adult or who is the person that is influencing them to do that? Because I don't think they came up with that on their own. And I'm thinking of one particular case where it was like a 11 or 12-year-old and like a 13-year-old. So it wasn't like it was an older teenager that had the idea to go and carjack this guy.
But just because they're not there with him on that specific carjacker doesn't mean it didn't come from a higher influence though. I mean, I don't know. Like, I remember like when I was growing up, I mean, it was always like that one kid who was like too criminally advanced. You know what I'm saying? Like most younger male friend groups in the inner city, I think, even in like the countries, I feel like there's always that one kid that's like why are you this deep? You know what I'm saying? And especially now with the internet, like the little Kia boy shit, it's just like, you tell me I can go on YouTube, figure out how to rob this car. Like, and you got that one kid who has the set of parents who really don't watch over them the way that they should, or he has grandparents who may be a little bit too elderly to watch over them as they should, or whatever is going on. And then you got other kids who kind of trickle in, along that spectrum of, I got parent where I should be bothered with this or whatever. And I feel like it's just kind of like, what's that saying where everybody kind of groups up?
Very sympathetic.
It's like a mob effect.
No.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you just kind of like, somebody pull up. Because I remember being a kid, but like, one thing that helped me a lot was like, I knew that like my mom would like stomp me out and then like let me stay in jail. You know what I'm saying? But it was like the fear of God, And it was like, I remember one time I jumped into a car. I was like a teenager, and I was a young teen. It's like, like 14, 15, something like that, maybe younger than that. I hopped in the car with some homies. My other dude was driving, and I was like things weren't adding up to me. And I'm like, whose car is this, bro? It's my mom's car. I'm driving. So I'm like, but at this time, like the homie who said that, like he was Spanish. So I'm like, all right, that might be true. That might be true. You might have a learners, because he was like a year older than me or something like that. So I was like, it's possible. And then I get to I look at the steering wheel column, and like, this is probably the only time I was grateful that I had like a career criminal as an older brother. I looked at the steering column and see the bandana with the ignition popped out, and I was like, hey bro, you can go ahead and let me out right here. You can let me out. You're gonna be out on the corner. I appreciate it. Like, what's wrong with y'all? That's some stupid shit. And then I walked off. I was just like, nah. So like, I feel like I was grateful for that, but like we all kind of did our own stupid shit. But I feel like nowadays kids, like, you get this like, they're like looking for like some sort of like this crash out culture is like
Crazy.
It's like, when I was growing up, like, you'd be like, oh nah, cuz that did, like, you might want, steal smarter. Nobody ever cared about, nobody wanted to crash out. It's like now, like, crashing out is what gets you the notoriety.
Yeah. 5 seconds of fame.
Yeah, no, like with all like I don't know why, but like one of my like funniest. I don't want to say it's funny because they're always kind of super depressing, fucked up videos. But like watching the drill scene, like it could be like what like Chicago drill scene or the New York drill scene. The funny part is I don't even listen to drill music, but it just be like the lore in like these like it's like what the like what are you serious?
Yeah. What's craziest about the drill scene to me is that music sound came from New Jersey. So Baltimore club music went to Jersey, then it went to Philly, then it hit New York with DJ Wild Wild. That was like 2007, right around the time I was coming to college. He started getting on I-97. And that's when he started working with a bunch of producers, and a bunch of producers started exploring that sound from Jersey. And then from like 2013 to 2017, there was like an incubation period, and that's when drill got on the scene. And one of my folks was like, man, this beat sound familiar to you? I was like, I'm pretty sure that's club music, Jersey club music, but a different version of it. And then it was this producer I bumped into, he was like, yeah, no, the whole drill scene, that is all Jersey club. And it's like what Jersey club was when we were doing battles in the clubs and the parties compared to what the drill scene is now is like so crazy.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
That explains a lot. Because I was out there in 2007. I really like
Just you know, think about somebody like committing 4 murders to that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Pop lock and went to Glocks and switches.
But that really shows you how culture affects the music and what it means and what it can do too.
Yeah.
Because like what Jersey club music is, because remember, Jersey club music is still out there and folks love it compared to what the drill scene is. No, they are not cousins.
No.
No. Nah, not at all.
But yeah, it's just different. I don't even know, like, I don't know why, but it's just different.
Mm-hmm.
There's a different feel to it. It feels dangerous.
Do you monitor what
I
your
wouldn't
kids
say it
listen
feels.
to?
Yeah. Like my youngest son likes that dude Mario Judah.
I know he's talking about really. I was listening to an album yesterday too, so that's crazy.
I cannot.
I was just curious. I was like, what is this guy?
My son goes, hey, so if you know my youngest, then it makes it even all the more funnier if you know his personality and you know Mario Judah dude, you're like, that makes too much sense. But yeah, dog, like he'll be like, how does he come up to me asking for, like, because he doesn't know the dude's name is Mario Judah. He'd be like, Dad, can you play the Big Bear song? And I'd be like, the what? And then like he'll be sitting there like, you know, doing the little chorus, and I'd be like, they took me so long to figure out what he was talking about. And his older brother came, he said, yeah, Dad, you know the dude with the like eye paint and stuff? And I was like, the what? And then like he got like my son typed it in and it came up. I was like, that dude? And then we listened to the song. I was like, nah, so we good on that. Every time I think of that dude, I just think about that Drewski interview when he was talking to Drewski, and that's all I hear every time. Not that it was terrible, like whatever, do you think, But he was like, that's got to be racist. Like that's all I hear, yo. Oh, that dude. Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's different.
So, in terms of the fear of kids getting kidnapped, right? We get back to this.
Oh, okay. Okay, great.
You guys have a mode of operation for him, like moving around by himself, or like in case of emergencies, like what should he do things? Because, like, I know as a parent, that's not easy to be like, yeah, we have to come up with plans, and my kids have to be able to remember this when emergencies happen.
Yeah. So there's a few things that he does. I'm not gonna really I don't really want to say him.
No, I got you.
But there are like things and places and numbers that he knows in his brain that I like forced him to kind of commit to memory.
Yeah.
And then also like, to be honest with you, one of the biggest things is just like his location on that phone. Like make sure your phone is make sure your phone is charged. Like make sure that this is a possibility for you to be able to deal with, you know?
Yeah.
So I can see what's going on. That's kind of the biggest thing when it comes to that.
You get amazed by how many kids don't know their address. They're just crazy and frank. If the police find you, how are you going to get home? Like, what are you going to tell them?
Yeah, my parents drilled that into the regular address we had. Like, when we moved, my parents was like, all right, do you know your address? It's like the day we got there. We just were on the block, and we pulled up to the house. Cause like, what's crazy is the house I live in now, when we first got in there, we had to tear up the kitchen floor, and there was like this big Venn diagram on the floor in the kitchen. Right. So it was like floor, and then 2 5-point stars layered over each other.
Pentagram.
Yeah, is that what it's called?
I'm not sure. I was like, Venn diagram.
Oh, so that's
Diagram.
I don't see all that question. I don't see all the other dude.
He said, "Five like flip this on fold and say something."
I was like, if I give them clues, because I knew I said the wrong word.
Instagram,
Yeah. And I was like, first I was like, yo, so we summoning the devil? What's going on here? I was like, yo, this where we moving to? Second, they were like, all right, so what's the address? They didn't tell me the address. We got to the house. We got out. They said, yo, this the house we shopping for, because we moved out the other house in East Orange because of a racist situation. That's how this is about. And they're like, all right, so what's your address? I said, what you mean? They said, you saw the number. You saw the block. What's the address? I was like, you think I was looking at the block when we came here? It's all right, well, walk down the street and go figure out the block and come back. Let me know the address is. And that's how, like, I learned the addresses, like, just right off the bat. And also, my dad was big on, you need to pay attention to your environment no matter where you are.
Yeah, that too.
Early age.
Yeah, there's like a list of things that my sons know, like just in general, just moving around and just doing things. Like I have a list of like rules with certain things. Like in the moments where it's like, okay, so I need to go run these errands. Do y'all want to go? And they'd be like, yeah, I want to go. Sometimes they're like, nah, I kind of want to chill. Like this new update on this game came. Everybody just want to chill in the house. You know, all right, cool, do your thing. You know, like, but I have a set of rules for that.
Yeah.
You know, like they know that, like you don't answer my door at all. You don't call out. Somebody goes, this is such and such. You don't go, who is it? Nothing. Like they can hear the TV on. I do not care. They can hear that as somebody in there. I do not care. You do not. Because anybody that needs to come in that house will have access to that house. I promise you that. Anybody, or like you will talk to me first or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not physically hearing my voice on the other end of that door, and you know for a fact that it's me, stuff like that. They know not to, like, you don't touch the stovetop or the stove itself. Like, no, there's an air fryer and a microwave if it's that serious. And other than that, you can make a sandwich, you can eat whatever else.
Get the cookies.
Eat some, the dumbest, when you get that for real. Yeah, but they know there's just certain things that I just don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not doing that. We're not, messing with certain things around my house.
When it comes to you and the other parents, do you guys have like, hey, here's our base ground rules and everybody goes out from there? It's just like, look, everyone does everything different in their house and the boys got to know just to adapt.
I feel like that with my older kid, with his mom, I don't know. I mean, if she chooses to do at her house, or she chooses to do at her house. Same thing with my younger kid's mom. I feel like the boys live by a base rule of just like certain things, but like stuff like I was saying, like in my house, with like you don't answer the door, things like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not too sure as to how they go about that. I'm sure it's probably on the same tip, because it just makes sense. But yeah, there isn't like a conversation we had where it's like, okay, so this, the things that they need to know that we both agree on are just like kind of understood. Like you know better than me, kind of thing.
Man, there was in our last interview, because now that's why I like do the references. Like, hey, we had that last talk. There was something you brought up about the admissions office trying to give you information to give to his mom, and you're like, nah, Miss Data, I'm right here. What other places do you run into that kind of thinking?
Every mindset. I mean, like she said before, doctor's offices are used to, the mom being kind of the controlling dynamic and the dad's being like, I have no clue what's going on here. And like, I don't even know who this dude is. But yeah, you run into that everywhere. You just kind of got to make yourself known in your presence, to be honest.
But on the football field, are you...
See, but that's the funny part, because I don't play sports. Like, their mom is still, she's like, she's the one on the sideline. Like, now go out, man. I'm just sitting there awkwardly, like, yeah. Score. They're like, like sports, you know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up, like, painting murals and being, like, skateboarding. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, when I was young, like, my parents forced me into sports, and it made me hate sports. like football and baseball. I was actually pretty good at them. Like I remember the day I learned that I could be a kicker when I played football. It was the best day of football I ever played, because I knew that like my efforts were drastically cut. Like all I gotta do is kick the ball like a couple times a game. We'll tackle somebody. All right, I'm cool with that. Because other than that, like I played the offensive line or the defensive line. I played like a tight end. So it was like all these like really demanding like positions in football. And it was like, wow, okay, so we gotta go hit somebody really hard every 10 seconds for the next hour. Great. Baseball was cool. I don't know. It just was. It kind of seemed like a punishment to me as a kid more than like something I was like, oh yeah, great, this is fun. And my sons play basketball, and it's like, that's because they choose to. Their mom, like my younger kid's mom's kind of more. With the younger one, it was funny. I think she's kind of now getting the point of like, okay, I can't make him play a sport. Like, he kind of just has to either want to do it, because if not, we're just going to waste a bunch of money. We went through like 3 sports of like stuff for him. Like, because, you know, sports these days ain't like, oh, just show up, we'll play, have fun. It's like, no, you need this, we need that. This is going to cost you like $400 before, you know, you get to go out there and watch him run weirdly across the field.
Yeah.
Why do you think, I see a lot of moms bring their kids in for sports physicals, and this is as early as like 5, which to me that's ridiculous, because what are the risks?
Yeah, for sure.
What are the risks? I'm like, why are they making them do that?
There was a lot of things with like Lucas sports. I was just like, do we need to do all this? But yeah, I couldn't tell you. I guess it comes from a point of like, I would have hoped you would have been like, tell me why. Like, cause I'm thinking the same thing you think. I'm like, they're little kids. Like, what are they about to really do? Like, I could get it if the kid has like asthma or like some sort of like allergy or allergic to grass. I don't know, something like that. I get that. Like, you might want to know that, but like, I don't know.
So for a sports physical, the reason why it was originally thought of is because like
history, go ahead.
In adolescence, as your body's growing, your heart also grows, and there are some people who are at more risk of having what we call hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. And so like your heart muscle gets really thick to the point where blood cannot flow through it when you're exercising, and that can cause a heart attack on the field. And so that's why you want to do a sports physical on a teenager. But
so your heart too strong?
It's too thick. Because you know you have valves and stuff in your heart, and so if you like,
so they like tighten up things. Crazy work.
But for a 5-year-old, like, that doesn't make sense. And I think the sports organizations just kind of say like, everybody needs a sports physical, and so now as a doctor I have to do that.
Yeah, pretty much.
But why are the moms or dads saying like, my 5-year-old has to play football? Like,
I don't, to be honest with you, I'm not that kind of parent, so I don't know. I really couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I kind of feel the same way, like when I go to games and stuff, and I'm like, dude, he's like 6. It's like 6. Calm down. Please calm down.
Yeah.
Like, you screaming, you upset. Dude, he's 6. Like, he probably wants a snack right about now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's running for this little football, and he's worried about like gingerbread cookies or something. Like, come on, dude. Like, he's trying to watch some YouTube or something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So I couldn't tell you. I like, with like my kids, it's like, dude, whatever you want to do, I support it, and I don't care what it is. You be ballet, you go want to go to breakdance classes, like whatever it is, I do not care, dude. Like, that's what you want to do, cool. But I'm not with making kids do things. Like I said, like my parents made me do things. So,
Yeah.
Like, granted, it kind of kept me out of a little bit more trouble, but like, after a while, I was just like, I'm not doing this no more.
Yeah.
Like, my mom hated the fact that I skateboarded. She had me football, for God's sakes, and you're worried about me getting hurt on a skate.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, I remember I had to pull up the statistics for my mom one day, like the injury statistics of each sport, like including skateboarding. And I was just like, I think like number 1 was like basketball, like injury prone.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's crazy.
But the most serious injury is probably football.
I don't know. They didn't have like a list of like, I think it was listed off as prone, like how likely are you to hurt yourself doing this? The whole point was like skateboarding was like after all of the things that she wanted me to put, which was yeah, and I was just like, come on.
Did she ever tell you why she wanted you to play sports that you hated?
I was fat as a kid. My mom's very, very straightforward. I was fat as a kid. I was big, and she just wanted me to not be like just sitting around doing nothing, or like hanging out in the neighborhoods with the wrong people.
Yeah.
That was her drive to get me to do sports.
Yeah, my parents wanted me to do wax sports as a fat kid. So like
Whack.
or swimming in a Speedo as a fat kid.
So I would
Think about that. Think about that. So your son's fat, right? And you're like, yo, so you're gonna swim competitively, right? So we started out in East Orange, and East Orange is the hood, right? So you start out there, then you move to Maplewood, and you're swimming for, I think it was like the Maplewood Makos or something like that. So you go from like you're swimming and you're in like swim trunks when you're in the hood. So it's like a hot school. And then you go there and they're like, oh, you got to swim in a Speedo and you're fat, right? So I don't know if you know this, but like, you get to the better neighborhoods, you put on the Speedo and you guys have to run a couple of laps around that big ass pool before swimming. So every day you're like, so I have to put on this Speedo and I have to run around this pool barefoot, naked, and just a Speedo with everybody else. And like at that age, everyone's like, nah, but it's cool because you're around girls in their bikinis and whatnot. And it's like, nah, fam, it's not cool. This isn't.
It's embarrassing.
You have to really have a lot of confidence to survive years of this. And I knew, I was like, I don't give a fuck what happens. I know when I'm done swimming, I'm never gonna see you niggas again. That was it. That was it. I was like, I'm not hanging out in Maplewood. Y'all got me messed up. My mom had the picture on display above the fireplace. And we don't have a fireplace that works. It's just like, you know how a home has a fireplace? And I remember one year coming home, like 6 years ago, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm taking this picture. And I have it. I didn't burn it or anything.
And was like the Speedo.
Yeah, but it was like, it was me on the, you know, the bars that used to come out the pool, just standing like this. And I was like, oh, this is, I could never let anybody come across this piece of work. But like as a fat kid, you doing competitive swimming. I have like a trophy because I had the slowest time on the team. Right?
Trophy for the slowest time.
For the slowest time on the team.
A consolation prize.
Yeah, that's what that is. That's not a win. That's a look at you.
Kept going. Persevere through.
Yeah, no, hell yeah, I kept going. I'm like, look, if I'm here and I'm gonna be doing this, I'm gonna do it for real. And then like one year I was just like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this. I'm gonna go play high school football. And my mom was like, so you're gonna play football instead of swim? I said, yeah. She said, you're not gonna last. And I said, I bet. That's all, yo. That's all the encouragement I ever need. Just tell me I can't do something that I chose to do. That's it. That you're gonna see a different side of what me applying myself looks like. And then the other thing was fencing. Fencing was fun, but like they don't make
the swords, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, they don't make big nigga outfits for fencers. So you always have.
I mean, it's a small person. No, like.
So I was always busting out the biscuits. You feel what I'm saying? Like coming right out the can. I was like, oh, this is crazy. I broke so many sabers, and I forgot the name of the other stuff. I was just breaking stuff left and right. And they were like, man, we know you paid for this, but we don't know if you're a right fit for this. The footwork for fencing is amazing. I'll definitely say that. Like folks who usually is like, nah, you got good footwork. I'll be like, it's probably because I did fencing. Because fencing is literally footwork and being as explosive as you can, and then learning to be evasive. But it's actually really hard to keep track of the little point at the end of the sabers that hit you too. So you like really train your eyes really well. But it's just like, but the things don't fit. They just don't fit. So yeah, let's go sword.
Yeah. I just want to say, like, as a pediatrician, if you are feeding your kid the right stuff and they just happen to be big, that's fine. Like, you don't have to make them work out because that's not really gonna. That's like 10% of whatever it is. Yeah. It's the diet is 80% or 90%.
Yeah. Now my mom has a bad habit of. She's older. I'm not gonna say her age, obviously, but old people, when they're afraid of your health, they tend to give you the advice doctors are giving them and saying, this is what you need to do. And it's like, actually, I don't need to do that. Like when I was training for the NFL, I used to train in the pool, like do sprints in the pool because of my stress Achilles and do hang cleans in the pool. And my mom was like, have you ever thought about working out in the pool? Because, it's really good for you. And I was like, Mom, I was working out in the pool for 5 years. You saw my videos because you follow me on social media. She said, yeah, no, but if you do this, and it's like, oh, you're not listening. We don't need to talk.
Or pay attention.
Yeah.
I mean, like, she hadn't watched you for 5 years.
Yeah, no, I told her, I was like, when it comes to like my health or my build, I told her like, we don't need to talk because like you're only paying attention when you're afraid. You're actually not paying attention to what I've done when I'm doing it. You only pay attention and voice yourself when you have this fear. So I don't do well with people that when they talk to me, they're always talking from their fears instead of what's actually happening in front of you. I was just like, I don't deal well with that because you're going to say something out of pocket and I don't want to always have to correct you, if that makes sense. Like, we have enough conversations for me to believe in who you are, what's going on. But if your fear is big enough that you can't pay attention, then I don't need to interact with you too much.
Wow. Okay. I just tend to like let it go, like whatever. I know in my head we right. We can still be cool.
Nah, because it's like I hear you out, but like, nah, bro, you'll let me know when you're ready to talk for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what's 2 pieces of advice you give to parents that are co-parenting?
Be open and be honest. And then another piece of advice I can give is that the best interest of the child always comes first. No matter the personal dispute, no matter what's going on, and sometimes people have to be honest with themselves what the best interest of the child is. And that sometimes it's an in the moment kind of thing. It's like right now, who is the kid best to be with? Does it make more sense for me to have a little more than you right now so you can take care of some things? Okay, cool. And without it being like oh, you're not qualified, so give me my baby until, you get it together and I feel like you got it together. Like, no, you're not to judge it cool or when it's together, but, you should understand that.
Would you have any advice for really unhealthy co-parenting situations? So for example, let's say you're a dad and you're working 17,000 different jobs to make sure the kids are fed, taken care of, they can have other auxiliary opportunities. They may not have NASA camp and IT camp and stuff like that. And the mom doesn't really have the same standard that you have, but the kids want to stay with the mom full time and move to another state compared to you being a dad and what you've done.
That sounds very personal.
Yeah. Oh, you can move your chair forward a little bit. A little bit. Yeah, you're good. Method man.
Yeah, fucking up method man.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a lot to ingest. Yeah, at the end of the day, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. Mm-hmm. I feel like that as the co-parents, their focus at that point should be, okay, well, this is what he or she's choosing to do full time.
Yeah.
So we'll make that happen. But I also like let's say like you said, the mom, they want to go live with the mom. Mm-hmm. The mom and the dad should then be like, okay, well, I still feel like it's necessary for you all to maintain a decent, solid relationship. And so that's going to take effort from both of you guys because she's clearly choosing to move away. Mm-hmm. So it's like if I were to move and take my sons to another state, and I would make sure that they're still having a life with their mom, they're still communicating with their mom when they want to see their mom, and make sure that I give resources available so that you can do that. Because at this point, we're allowing them to choose who they spend their time with. Then, when they are choosing to spend time with the other parent, then you need to be able to be ready to make it available to them. That's what I feel like goes along with something like a scenario like that. Because I feel like some people may just give up. You'd be like, oh, well, I can live with mom, cool. With mine now, and I have really nothing to do with what's going on in your life. No, I feel like the other parent still needs to make an effort, but also feel like that the kid and the mom at that point should make an effort to make that person a part of their life as well. Even if it's the other way around and the dad has a kid, you should still make the mom feel a part of your life as much as she should make an effort to be a part of the kid's life. That's what I feel like you should do with that personally.
Yeah, the kid best for that.
advice for that? No, but I have another question for Josh.
Okay.
How can community members engage the dad more? Or like, what would you like to see from the people that tend to leave more question?
I would say just to communicate with the dads like you do with moms. It's not something that's like a thing. Now I do get situations where it's like, okay, sure, clearly you are not helping here. Like, you are not, you know, and in those situations, just let it be what it is. Whoever, that's their dynamic. If they're okay with it, then let their dynamic be. But really, I feel like until someone proves that, because that can go on both sides of the fence. Like I've met people where the mom's like super, like I remember the first time I realized, like I ran into a situation like that where like the kids upbringing was like predominantly on the dad. Like he did everything kind of, you know, she kind of just gave birth to the little one and was like, you know, I'm doing her own thing, you know. But other than that, it was the dad. So it was like, I've seen both sides of that, but it's just like, yeah, you kind of just gotta, I don't know, treat everybody as if it's like what it is until they've proven like, oh, well, I don't really give a fuck. And then you just be like, all right, cool, we're just not gonna talk to you then.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, just everybody's kind of, yeah, we just carry like everybody's the same.
Dads are parents too.
Yeah.
For the most part.
What did you find most interesting about the first sit down I did with Josh?
His honesty about how messy it was in the beginning and how he was able to like move towards a healthy, almost ideal co-parenting situation now. Like that was very impressive. I don't see that a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
I see single mothers carrying the weight by themselves and everything. I don't even know that dad is around or where he is or, you know, and that affects the kid. It really does. I don't think people are aware. I don't even think the mom is aware of how much it affects the child.
Yeah, no, I agree. 'Cause I feel like sometimes, like even with like your dad, like you just said, like where the mom isn't aware, I've seen that sometimes where I'm just like, damn, bro, like you didn't realize like this is gonna have an effect upon, you know, like I get it though. Like some people are pushed into a scenario where like you have to mentally tell yourself that this is okay. Like you have to believe that wholeheartedly. You have to believe that it's going to be straight, because if you don't, it's not going to be okay. You know, and they're not wrong for feeling that way. I never felt like a woman was wrong for being like, oh, we gonna be straight. Like, yeah, you probably are, because I'm sure you want to eat tomorrow just like, you know, you want your kid to eat. And so it makes sense for it. It is a much different dynamic though. That's what kind of makes me push it hard sometimes with like, you know, I could easily just be like, man, I don't have to deal with all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Just like their mom could do the same thing. You know, and I saw a post the other day that really fucking bothered me. It said, it was like, dads can just give up and leave, moms can't. And I was just like, that's crazy word. That is a crazy statement to make for you to feel so wholeheartedly and post that on the internet. And it's just like, go through all the comments, I'm just like, a lot of people feel that way. I was just like, are you serious?
Yeah, we normalize it as a society.
Yeah, it's like, that is not true. That is not, you know, in these situations I've seen be the exact opposite. Or sadly enough, both parents and just be like, yeah, nah, I'm straight. And it's just like kids left to like grandparents or something. I had a lot of homies who grew up by their grandparents. And, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, you always hear about like, oh man, dad wasn't in my life. Like, no, I didn't grow without either one of my parents. Like, both of my parents were bad.
I think the next time we do a sit down, we should talk about what unstructuring that looks like. And that's like a really big question. That's why I didn't ask it, because I think to ask that and be like, all right, come up with an answer in 5 minutes. It's like, nah, that's a lot of work and that's really heavy.
I've been thinking about it for a while because it is something that I see too often. Like I grew up with my dad in the house.
To what, unstructured, broken homes, you say?
Yeah. To like reunite the Black family.
I mean, at this point, I think you should just reunite the family. Like, yeah, black or not, like, broken homes suck regardless of, like, the race or integrated race homes, you know what I'm saying? I don't feel like I feel like people kind of know better at this point. They're just choosing to do what you do. It's like,
other auxiliary opportunities. They may not have like NASA camp and like IT camp and stuff like that. And the mom doesn't really have the same standard that you have, but the kids want to stay with the mom full time and move to another state compared to you being a dad and what you've done.
That sounds very personal.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, you can move your chair forward a little bit. A little bit. Yeah, you're good. Method man.
Yeah, fucking up method, man.
Yeah.
Damn, I mean, that's a lot to ingest. I mean, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that as the co-parents, their focus at that point should be, okay, well, this is what he or she's choosing to do full time.
Yeah.
So we'll make that happen. But I also like let's say like you said, the mom, they want to go live with the mom.
Mm-hmm.
The mom and the dad should then be like, okay, well, I still feel like it's necessary for you all to maintain a decent, solid relationship. And so that's going to take effort from both of you guys, because she's clearly choosing to move away.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if I were to move and take my sons to another state, and, you know, I would make sure that they're still having a life with their mom, they're still communicating with their mom when they want to see their mom, and make sure that I give resources available so that you can do that. You know, because at this point, we're allowing them to choose who they spend their time with. Then, you know, when they are choosing to spend time with the other parent, then you need to be able to be ready to make it available to them. That's what I feel like goes along with something like a scenario like that. Like, because I feel like some people may just give up. You'd be like, oh, well, I can live with my cool with mine now, and I have really nothing to do with what's going on in your life. Like, no, I feel like the other parent still needs to make an effort, but also feel like that the kid and the mom at that point should make an effort to make that person a part of their life as well. Even if it's like the other way around and the dad has a kid, you should still make the mom feel a part of your life as much as she should make an effort to be a part of the kid's life. So that's what I feel like you should do with that personally.
Yeah, the kid advice for that.
Advice for that? No, but I have another question for Josh.
Okay.
How can community members engage the dad more? Or like, what would you like to see from the people that tend to lean more
Question.
the mom?
I would say just to communicate with the dads like you do with moms. It's not something that's like a thing. Now I do get situations where it's like, okay, sure, clearly you are not helping here. Like, you are not, you know, and in those situations, just let it be what it is. Whoever, that's their dynamic. If they're okay with it, then let their dynamic be. But really, I feel like until someone proves that, because that can go on both sides of the fence. Like, I've met people where the mom's like super, like, I remember the first time I realized, like, I ran into a situation like that where like the kid's upbringing was like predominantly on the dad. Like, he did everything kind of, you know, she kind of just gave birth to the little one and was like, you know, I'm doing her own thing, you know. But other than that, it was the dad. So it was like, I've seen both sides of that, but it's just like, yeah, you kind of just gotta, I don't know, treat everybody as if it's like what it is until they've proven like, oh, well, I don't really give a fuck. And then you just be like, all right, cool, we're just not going to talk to you then.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, just everybody's kind of, yeah, we just carry like everybody's the same.
Dads are parents too.
Yeah.
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 For the most part.
What did you find most interesting about the first sit down I did with Josh?
His honesty about how messy it was in the beginning and how he was able to like move towards a healthy, almost ideal co-parenting situation now. Like, that was very impressive. I don't see that a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
I see single mothers carrying the weight by themselves and everything. I don't even know that dad is around or where he is, or, you know, and that affects the kid. It really does. I don't think people are aware. I don't even think the mom is aware of how much it affects the child.
yeah, no, I agree. 'Cause I feel like sometimes, like, even with like your dad, like you just said, like where the mom isn't aware, I've seen that sometimes where I'm just like, damn, bro, like, you didn't realize like this is gonna have an effect upon, you know, like I get it though. Like, some people are pushed into a scenario where like you have to mentally tell yourself that this is okay. Like, you have to believe that. It's like, we know better as a society.
How does the environment play in that too is also a question that needs to be answered, because sometimes it is environment or lack of resources, or I was taught this and I came out okay, so
For sure.
we're passing that down. And that's why I was like, I don't want you to answer it now, because it's like there's a lot to discuss and think about, and I might have to bring one other person that deals with that person outside of you to be like, all right, let's have this uncomfortable discussion that like, depending on where you come from, it looks simple, but for other people who don't come from that, they're like, nah, that's too complicated.
Yeah. No, I feel that.
I'm proud of you though, like forever.
I'm proud of you, too.
that. Like, you know, she's super proud. I'm saying, when I sent the text saying who I was sitting down with, she was like, yes.
Yes.
And this goes back to, I think I told you about this. Like, you were there when I started Get Home Safe and all the work that I do. I didn't know this was gonna affect this many people. This is technically what hope looks like, when you just keep hoping and coming up with other ideas. And now people are like, yo, that hope that you had was actual reality. And this is how it affected me or us or my family or people getting help. Which to me has been major, because like, I don't, just because people like me, they don't gotta listen to me. You feel what I'm saying? Like, people could like me for the hugs, and tomorrow it's about brunch and that's it. So to see all my homies getting help, to see people getting the right resources, to see people admit, hey, I'm just a shitty person and that's what it's gonna be. I get excited for that, because it's like, you know, if you're a shitty person and you realize even after going to therapy, I'm just going to be a shitty person, that's one less thing to feel guilty about. Because sometimes people do ask, is there something wrong with me wanting to just be this kind of person?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, nah, that really just might be who you are. And maybe the best solution is just not having a problem with who you are.
Right. Acceptance.
Yeah.
Very true.
All right, well, this has been another episode of Mental Health Monday. Here with my folks, new host, Jory. It comes out as Jewelry.
Jewelry. On the AI.
Yeah, the AI thing.
But in real life, people call me Jewelry.
They call you Jewelry, as in like
I've got
stuff.
so many different
I'm
variations of
so
it.
sorry. I didn't know that happened.
It's okay. That's why I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
No, when you told me that, I was like, hey, I'm just gonna erase it. It had like a lot of views too, and I was like, look, if you're comfortable with me just erasing this and we do it from scratch, you saw the collective version.
I did. Thank
Got
you.
you out the way. No, I got you out
Yeah.
the way. Yeah, and my boy Josh. Hey, welcome back, Josh. Like, subscribe, share, comment. There's so many words at the end of these things. Thanks for coming out, guys. See you guys later. Peace.